Unleash Success podcast, where we break down the secrets of success to give you real tools and strategies that get real results. And now, here's your host, Corey Corpodian.
Welcome back to Unleash Success. If you haven't subscribed to our newsletter yet, just go to unleashsuccess.com, enter your email so you can get all the tools and strategies sent directly to you each and every week. Welcome back to Unleash Success. This is your host, Corey Corpodian. Today we get to interview Peter Vekselman. He is a real estate investment strategist who's been real estate investing for over 20 years, has done over 3,500 deals, and now partners with other people nationwide through his company, Partner Driven, to help others succeed in real estate investment. We're going to break down the strategies he's used to increase success in real estate investment and how you can make money as well. Peter, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So you've been investing for 20 years. We've got Partner Driven, which we'll get into later in the show. But where did it all start for you?
Well, it all started exactly what you said 20 years ago. I was introduced to the real estate concept, actually not through real estate directly, but through the mobile home business. Actually, at that point, gotten out of the franchising business, sold a lot of my franchises that I owned, and was trying to figure out what to do. Was given a book by Lonnie Scruggs, Deals on Wheels. The first time I ever knew even anything about mobile homes. About a week later, I bought my first mobile home. About 3 years later, I had the biggest brokerage of mobile homes in the state of Georgia. If you know anything about the South, that says a lot. And then literally overnight, the financing fell out of the mobile home business. Within 4 to 5 months, every player got out of the business. So I had to kind of figure out what was my next move in life. And, when you're in mobile homes, you think you understand real estate. I learned pretty quickly I didn't, but I thought I did. So out of mobile homes, I jumped into real estate, and that was all about 18 years ago now.
Wow, interesting. Mobile homes, I don't know a lot about investing in mobile homes, but it's funny how different it can be from mobile homes to residential homes, even commercial real estate and apartment buildings. What were you looking for when you started getting into residential? You said it was a lot different. How was the learning curve, and what did you look for in these initial deals to get you started? The two businesses, fall under the same umbrella, but that's like saying, dentistry falls under the neurosurgeon umbrella. They might both be in the real estate business, but they're totally different. And, my attitude was that I just had to make a couple small adjustments. And so I went to one or two local seminars and got into it and really realized very quickly that real estate and mobile homes were two totally different businesses. And first 6 months, made every single mistake I could make, was taken advantage by everybody I could be taken advantage of. Worked with the wrong realtors, wrong contractors, overpaid for things, over leveraged, on and on and on. And literally 6 months into the business, I had lost, not like over leveraged, over mortgage and then try to get it back. I mean, literally lost out of pocket, $500,000. So I managed to go backwards pretty darn quickly. Never really doubted the business, just always knew I was the idiot behind the wheel driving it. And it took me quite a bit of time. It took me about 3 years from that point on to get to zero. So it's safe to say that for the first 3 years, if I would have worked at McDonald's, I would have done better than I did at real estate. But I got to zero in a couple of short months, a couple of short years after that, had models set up, had systems in place, and started the rise to where I am today. That's fantastic. So a lot of people that listen to this might have a little bit of extra cash in the bank. They thought about investing in real estate, but kind of like you, sometimes we don't want to get scammed by these gurus and these events where we dump a bunch of money in and we lose what little money we have, and we want to be able to maximize our returns. So nowadays, if you've got somebody who's looking to invest some money into real estate, what are the key things that you look for in a new deal for somebody who's looking to be their first time, real estate investment?
Well, the answer to your question specifically is real estate is a numbers driven business. It's not a location driven business. It's not even a type of real estate driven business. It's all a numbers driven business. But that's kind of the standard book answer. But the reality of this business, and this is really my business,
but I hate to say this about it, but the reality is, I think it's safe to say 95 out of 100 people that get into it never make a penny, and the other 4 make maybe a little bit over a penny and get out of it ultimately. And very, very few people become successful for one very, very important reason. And so when you get started in this business, this is really what you got to look for. And it comes down to 2 things in this business. It comes down to experience, and it comes down to money. And most people that get in this business don't have one or the other. An overwhelming majority of the people don't have either. And I can tell you that if you don't have money and you don't have experience, and it's a catch-22. It's like, how do you get experience when you need experience, right? But really, that's what this thing comes down to. If you don't have money and if you don't have experience, then you're dead in the water in this business. And then what happens is what happens to what happened to me. Talk to anyone else who's become successful in this business. To a T, we'll all have the same story. Maybe the time frame changed, maybe the pain points changed, maybe how much money we changes, but we all have the same story. We get in, we get clobbered, we somehow survive, and here we are. The reality is most people can't afford to get in and get clobbered. I mean, I did. Luckily I got out of a business. Had a little money to play with. Had $500,000 to lose. Guess what? If I did not have that $500,000 to lose, and I could not sustain going 3 years without making an income, I'd be dead in the water. So that's really that's the stuff that the guru world won't tell you. That if you're going to go at it yourself, be ready to lose a ton of money and be ready to sustain yourself. And if you could do those things, you got it made. The reality why most people never make it in this business is they can't handle both of those things. So, when you say, what do you look for when you get started, you really got to somehow piggyback off experience, and you got to make sure you have access to plenty of money.
Yeah, and let's talk about that. Say you do have a little bit of cash, you have zero experience. You don't want to risk the only amount of money you've saved up over the last couple of years. So how do we go about, I've heard of, no money down loans. There's also hard money loans. How do we go about finding to use someone else's money? And at the same time, if you have no experience, like, where do you go to have someone help you along the way to get this experience that we need?
Well, first of all, on the money side, you cannot do a real estate business in the United States that requires money if you have no money or have a little money. Again, dirty little secret, but here it is. Because there's no hard money lender in the United States that'll give you the right amount of money to cover what you need, okay? Really, on average, if you're going the hard money route, no matter what they tell you on a podcast, no matter what they show you on the internet, but the hard money route, you're going to have to be prepared to bring somewhere 20 to 30% of the deal. And you're going to have to be prepared then to carry an extra 20 to 30% because the lender's not going to ever let you get ahead of them. So you're going to have to fund the rehab, then they'll reimburse you. So the hard money part is an expensive part, okay? Mm-hmm. So here's what we're going to do. When it comes to money, if you're going to get into strategies that are going to require money, you're going to need to have somewhere between 20 to 30, 40% of the deal you're going to do. Whether you get into a fix and flip, whether you get into a rental, whether you get into building something, whatever those strategies are. So if you mentally are looking at yourself and you're saying, well, I know I don't have 20, 30, 40% of whatever I want to buy because things cost $100,000 in my market, which is, you actually still considered a pretty low end market. And I don't have 20 to 30 to 40 to play with. Then you cannot get into any strategy that's going to require you to put money into it, which means you're basically left to really one strategy. You got to learn how to wholesale. Because truly, if you understand that at a high degree, at a high level, you can utilize one or two strategies in real estate that do not require you use money. So as far as money is concerned, the only way to overcome that, if you don't have a lot of it, is you have to learn and understand the strategies that you could do that do not require money, okay? Now, how do you overcome the experience? That's the catch-22. Potentially, you can overcome the money. You may have money. But if you don't have experience, you really can't. And so what I tell people is you got to piggyback off of somebody. Really, it's the only way to do it.
Is there like a source for mentors or?
I don't know. There's a source for mentors. You can go work for somebody. Go Google your biggest investor in wherever you live. Tell them I'll come intern for you. Work for free for the first 6 months. Right. Go do that. I think honestly, if you're gonna go the mentor route, the guru route, you're pretty much pissing your money away. because what they're going to do is they're going to teach you. But now teaching is not experience, right? I mean, it's like going to college. That gives you no experience. That just gives you education. Real life gives you experience.
Right.
So if you go down the education side, you may gain the knowledge, but it's not the knowledge you need. The knowledge you can get for free on the internet. It's the experience you need. And the only way to get experience is you got to actually jump in there and do it. So the only way really that I know how to do it is you got to piggyback off somebody, literally. And I've told people this: go find the largest investor where you live and go tell them you'll work for him for 5-6 months. And then you're going to start gaining, the experience as it relates to this business.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you're doing, 10, 20 deals a month, 30 deals a month even. What are you guys looking for? How do you find all these deals? Are you all over the United States? How do you manage so many deals, and what do you look for to find the right ones?
Well, my model is very unique. I mean, I'm the only guy actually in the country that does what I do. But, some time ago, I ran into my own internal problem. I was a high volume investor. And, as I was telling you before we got on, I had offices, all the way from Georgia, all the way down south to Florida, through the Midwest, all the way to California. So I was investing all over the place, at local presence in a lot of markets. But even me, at the level I was in, I had I owned even a whole call center. We were taking so many inbound calls. But, we're in a great market. So every Tom, Dick, and Harry wants to get in this business. So it became tougher and tougher and tougher, even for someone like me, to find that kind of deals that guys like me are looking for. Really, it's not just guys like me that any investor needs to look for. So then over a period of time, I just kind of started switching my model around a little bit. And I started, through my social media, just kind of had this call out where I used to tell people, hey, if you got a deal anywhere in the United States and you need, a partner to do the deal with, call me. And I tell you what, that model just took off. I mean, when we started going to social media, single moms with 10 kids would call us and be like, hey, my uncle died and I inherited this house and I think it's a pretty good deal. And next thing you know, I'd give her the money to buy it. My team would help her fix it. We'd sell it and we'd make, 60, 70 grand, We had 20-year-old kids somehow walking into deals and we'd be splitting 50 grand. So then my model really became that kind of like, hey, you find it, you meaning you anywhere in the United States, and I fund it. And that was the initial launching of what I do now. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, what a genius idea to be able to do that. And now you've got people all over the country looking for deals for you. So, say I find a deal and I think it's good, but I present it to you. What are you looking for in this deal? You said it's all a numbers game. What kind of numbers do we have to bring to you to be able to partner with you?
Well, now, just that's where we started the model. We don't do that anymore. People can't just bring us deals because that model absolutely took off. And so the problem with that model was twofold. One issue with that model is obviously most of the people were calling us with no deals. They thought they found a deal, but of course it wasn't a deal. And number two, we weren't really giving anybody value beyond that one deal. Sure, we had these great success stories, but there were one-off success stories. And so where we are now with that model is we've just taken it into overdrive, into really, really just hyperdrive. And now is where everyone, the people that we're working with, this is where we're all making killings now, is because what I also had an educational side, the typical guru side that we just talked about, where people would, come and through our educational program. And my educational side never intermingled with my investment side. They were two things in two different, corners of my world. And then it just hit me one day. I'm like, God, people want to do deals. They're finding deals for us. Most of them aren't deals. We're not helping them beyond one deal. And then all the bells went off. And this is where we are today. I literally married my educational company with my investment company. So then the model became this. If you want to learn how to find a deal, and by the way, this answers your question of, well, what even makes the deal? If you want to learn how to find a deal, if you want to use my marketing to actually help you find the deals, that's right. We actually spend our money into our partners' markets and we generate leads for them. If you want to then use my money to buy the property, my money you do is fix it and then we sell it, we split the profits, then you need to be part of our partnering program. And that really is our partnering program now. So now we See, now in this world, we eliminate those two issues, right? We eliminate the experience issue and we eliminate the money issue, because my partners now across the United States utilize my experience to find deals and to execute the deals, and they use my money to do the deals. And that right there, I think, is the ultimate near perfect way of doing this business. And that's where we are now.
Excellent. So, you decide to become a partner with you, but these guys, they might use your marketing, but they still have to go out there and find the deals, right?
Well, that's what marketing does. It helps them find the deals. But yes, I actually dump money in their own marketplace and I generate leads for them. And guess what? I don't generate the BS leads that everybody else is going after. Realtor leads, REO leads, wholesaler leads. That's what every Tom, Dick, and Harry goes after. And those aren't deals, by the way. The realtor business has been dead for years. REO business is obviously gone, many years ago. The local wholesaler is just there to take advantage of the guy doesn't know anything. The only way to really, truly find real deals in today's marketplace, you have to know how to market to owners directly at a very, very high level. And 99 out of 100 people don't have access to the databases, that information that is needed to get a hold of these owners. Well, guess what? At my level, I do. And so when we partner with people, those are the leads that we generate for them. So in essence, do they have to put the effort in, running the leads and all this? Yes, but we're handing it to them on a silver platter.
And what qualifies for your partners for them to have a good lead that you guys say, hey, you know what? I see this lead. It hits the numbers. This is a good investment. What does it have to qualify for?
Well, the leads itself, we don't know what they are until somebody runs them. But we know we're getting the leads, the kind of leads from the sources that convert. But again, in terms of what makes a good deal, it just depends what the back end strategy is. Almost all our strategies are twofold. We're either going to wholesale the property with our partners, or we're going to fix and flip it. And again, it's all numbers driven, 100% numbers driven. If we decide to, let's say, wholesale a couple deals in the beginning, just to get our feet wet, just to get comfortable with each other, put some money in each other's pockets, then we can go up at about we're looking for about 25, maybe 30+% of equity in the deal. If we're going to fix and flip it, we will need about 35 minimum, 40+% equity. As long as it meets that, that's the only thing we care about. Now, again, these are general statements based upon the whole United States. Within each market, many times we're actually able to make adjustments on what makes a good or a bad deal. But that's kind of a general thing. It's all equity driven.
Yeah. And so when you're investing and you're putting in money, what's the kind of average returns that you're looking for after all the profit that you and your partners end up splitting?
Well, again, it's got to have
percentage
on a wholesale. Yeah. On a wholesale flip, 25 to 30%. And on a fix and flip, 35 to 40% plus.
Oh, that's what you're looking for profit. I see. Okay. So when you're in there, I mean, those are some pretty high profit margins. That's impressive to even find. I mean, I'm out here in California, so a lot of people, markets are still kind of hot. Where are the markets that you're looking at investing that you can find these pretty, heavy equity deals?
Market has zero to do with it. Just before I got on the phone with you, I was talking to one of my partners out of California, actually. 26-year-old kid, Seth Choate. This month alone, we're making $250,000. He's been with me for less than 2 years. It's nothing to do with market driven. It's got to do with expertise, and after doing what I've done for 20 years at the high level I've done, I don't care about the markets. I care about my local partners. Give me a partner like Seth that I just told you about, who's going to go through a wall if I tell him to go through a wall. He's not going to question it. He's not going to tell me he's not going to whine to me the whole day. He's going to do what my team and I teach him to do. We're going to make money. I don't care if you're in California or if you're in Michigan. It's nothing to do with markets. We got the systems in play. We got the strategies in play. We got the leads in play. We got everything. I just need the local partners that are willing to do whatever it takes, and then we make a killing together.
So let's go into some of the different types of real estate investments that you guys do. You said wholesale, fix and flip. Do you guys do buy and holds as well?
No, so yes and no. Yes, my partners have the ability to cherry pick the best one or the ones they may want to buy and hold for themselves. I do not personally get involved with them on those. Okay. So again, my partners have the ability to cherry pick those. I personally do not get involved in those.
And what's the mindset behind that where, you're deciding whether you want to jump into a fix and flip versus a buy and hold? why do you choose to invest only or mainly in fix and flip versus the buy and hold?
Well, not mainly. I don't do buy and hold. And you're right. What you use the right terminology, mindset. I used to have over 400 buildings I owned. Okay, so I've been there, done that. But it's exactly that. My mindset is not set up for long-term holds. I'm just a fast-paced, fast-twitch kind of guy. You know what I mean? Get in, get out of deals, do what I got to do with deals, and so. That's where my mindset is now. There's nothing wrong with rentals. It's just not me. Not what I want to be doing. That's all that is. That's all it is. But like I said, I have partners that by being partners with me, have developed very dynamic type of rental portfolios. We give our partners the ability to cherry pick, rentals for themselves. No problem there.
So you get your partners and you've got the marketing and everything, but I mean, in order to, you find a deal, but you also need to fix it up. You need, people on the ground to do the work. Do you rely on the partner to be able to find all these people and, subcontractors to be able to flip it, or do you provide services for that as well?
Well, and this is why I was able to get into this type of a model, meaning having partners all over the United States. You said you've done some investing in real estate. Real estate's a local business. You really got to do things at a local level. Very few people have the ability to do things at a, regional, even national level. Well, inadvertently, that's a skill set I developed after investing for 20 years for myself across the United States. I was doing this for myself before I started working with partners. So when I started working with partners, that was one of the huge benefits I bring to the partnership, is that my team here out of Atlanta is literally able to assemble and put together remote teams, whether they're construction teams, sales team, inspection team, whatever, across the United States. So yes, that is one of the huge values we bring to our partners to help them build that local infrastructure. But at the same time, we also have partners that already have it. I mean, we have partners that are contractors. Well, that's great. I love having a contractor as a partner. We don't have to worry about contracting, in that area. Some of our partners have licenses, so that's great. We don't have to worry about setting up a sales team because they can sell it for us. You know what I mean? So right. All of that's why, bottom line, I have partners. I mean, because in the end, I still need them. I need local presence. The only difference between me and my local partner is that my local partner obviously needs me a lot more than I need them. But make no mistake about it, this is not just something that they need. I need them also.
I mean, that's why it's a partnership, right? You guys help each other out.
Exactly right.
So looking back over the years, you obviously, like you said, you make some mistakes and you learn from that. What are some things that you help your partners or anybody who's new into the game? How do you help them avoid the mistakes that most people make? Like what kind of mistakes do people make, and then how do you avoid it?
Well, let me tell you the ultimate way you avoid it. You avoid it because I'm using my money. And I'm not going to let you make a mistake. That's like right. People sometimes ask us, like, well, how do we know? How do we know we're going to do this the right way? How do we know we're not going to go screwed up? Well, the answer is very simple. You're using Peter's money. And since if you're using your own money, then I might just let you go out there and just get a couple black eyes just to learn this the way I learned it. No, we're not going to let you do it. And so how you avoid it through my partner program is my whole team literally becomes your team. My team that's taken me 20 years to assemble, my team that's done thousands of deals. Literally, when we interact with our local partners, my team interacts with our local partners on a daily basis for one very basic reason. I got my money in play there. That's it. That's how you do it. Now, if you're just asking me conceptually, how do you go out there in real estate and avoid mistakes, it's tough. It's tough because real estate is a business where no two deals are alike, even at my level. We kid around here. Once a week I get together with my team and we go over all our deals. I kid you not, you just don't have vanilla deals. Every deal's got its own set of issues. So just to kind of say, well, I'm going to get in real estate. And so, Pete, how do I avoid mistakes? I don't know how you avoid mistakes. You will have mistakes. You will have challenges. And you're going to have to either pay through them, which is guess what? I just last Friday, it's Monday afternoon, last Friday, I was informed by my team, we are going to take a $40,000 hit on one of our deals. How do I avoid that? I pay through it. That's it. There's no way to avoid it. I mean, we do this for 20 years and we still make $40,000 mistakes. I just can afford to do it. So the answer to that, if you're just brand new and you will say, well, hell, I'm going to do it myself. I don't need Vekselman of 3,000 deals. I've been, a carpenter my whole life. I could do this myself. Get ready to dish out money. Get ready to dish out money and get ready to lose sleep. I mean, that's really the only way to do it.
Man, it's a tough business, a tough grind, huh? I was wondering, how have you stayed motivated? And I mean, you definitely are still super passionate about real estate after all these years, even with a $40,000 black eye that you just got. How do you stay motivated and excited about the business?
Well, I truly love doing what I do. I mean, think about this. I literally, maybe I overblow this a little bit, but I got partners all over the United States that we are truly helping build businesses that I built. Like literally, I mean, I just mentioned this 10 minutes ago. I was running a minute or two late to this taping. I was talking to a guy that I'm doing, a 26-year-old kid. We're making $500,000 this month. The money is good. Make no mistake about it. I am one of those guys. I'm not going to say I'm not motivated by money. I am absolutely motivated by money. No BS there. But you know how motivating it is to have a kid 26 years old as your partner that 2 years ago couldn't afford to get married when he met you. He had to put his own wedding on a credit card. That 2 years ago knew nothing about real estate, and in 30-day time span we're making $250,000. I mean, if you can't get passionate about that, if you can't get, and aside from that, which is really cool, aside from the business itself, I'm at the stage in my life, I'm reaping the rewards of it. I mean, I got a lifestyle to kill for. I mean, literally just, 3 hours ago, I was on a phone with, this is kind of a totally sideline thing, but how do you not love a lifestyle like this? 3 hours ago, I was on a phone with my insurance company, and the conversation with something like this is my personal insurance. The conversation is something like this. Hey, and this is this is nothing to do with my investments. This is like on my personal thing. I was talking to my insurance agent. They know me there because I do this so often. They pick up the phone like, hey, Pete, what's going on? I said, yeah, I want to switch this place. I got rid of this place, and I'm moving into this place. So I got these little crash pads all over the place. I get tired of one, I get another one. And today, I found this really cool crash pad in Atlanta. It's only literally a mile from where I got another little pad. And I'm like, my God, this thing is so much cooler. I'm only a mile down the road. And I just decided in the wind that I'm going to switch that. I mean, how do you not get fired up about the kind of lifestyle I lead? And it's all as a result of this business. So, along the way, I'm helping people get to the levels I'm at. It's pretty killer to be me.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, but it goes to show you've been doing this for 20 years. It doesn't happen overnight, and it takes time. You've got to put in the work. You've got to put in the effort. But then you get to reap the rewards, like you were saying. I investing in real estate over the years, and I'm a novice investor, but I like to kind of see where the trends are going. And I wanted to ask you what you think about where we're at in the real estate market overall, kind of trends. Just because, and I know every state's a little bit different, but the last real estate bubble, 2008, was crazy, and it's been years since anything like that has truly happened. But I've got some friends who are in the real estate business as well, saying prices here in California are kind of leveling out, maybe. And what do you see as far as all the deals you're doing across the nation? What are the trends of real estate? Are we in a buyer's market, a seller's market?
I'll be honest with you, and I get that, it's like this is probably the most common question I get asked, and my answer is probably the lamest answer I could give. I don't know. I mean, even the guys that predicted the crash in 2008, if you look at their history, they were predicting the crash for the last 10 years before 2008, and they just happened to hit 2008 and they crashed. I don't think anybody truly knows, but I will tell you this, without a shadow of a doubt, you have to learn to reinvent yourself in real estate. That's the one thing I have learned, because I truly do not know, and look at me, I got exposure across the United States. I'm not like Hubbard in this one little market that's like I'm killing it in and it's a no-brainer. I'm literally putting myself out all over the place, different markets, different partners, different conditions, appreciation in one market, depreciation, like you said, in your market, prices are leveling out. But what I have learned over so many years in this business, you've got to learn to be flexible, and you got to be willing to reinvent yourself. Even my partner-driven model, that's a whole reinvention of myself after being in this thing for 20 years. but it works for me now. And so where I think so many investors get killed, they get in because like they're getting in today in, let's say, whatever, let's just use your market in California, and there's certain kind of prices, and there's certain kind of deals that work, and there's certain kind of strategies that work, and there's certain kind of source that they can get their inventory for. So it's like kind of the stars line up for them. They get in, they do a couple deals, things are going great. Then the inevitable happens in real estate, a change happens, right? Real estate is an ever-changing business. Like you said, even people are telling your market things are beginning to change. Well, what happens, people get in, they really don't understand the business, they just kind of understand the particular time they got in, what works. And when things kind of start to change, like maybe they start slowing down a little bit, or maybe these prices get changed up, maybe appreciation, maybe depreciation, maybe the money gets tighter, that's what drives people out of business.
Yeah,
It's the change of the business that drives them out.
It's so funny because people don't realize that, you know, just like in life, in business, there's seasons to everything, and that sometimes the season might be summer. And oddly enough, I always think that homes, at least in Southern California, they sell a lot faster in summer because it's beautiful out and people want to move there and everything changes, and also schools are out. But there's a season. Sometimes it's winter time and maybe you're not selling as much as you want. And there's cycles to everything, even in real estate, like you said. And I've seen a lot of people become successful in a period of time and think that like that's the best way, but they end up losing a lot because they're not flexible or not changing fast enough, or they over leverage themselves, right?
You got it. That's it right there.
And so we got to protect ourselves. And, you know, one of the things that for this podcast that I use is the 80-20 rule. It's the Pareto principle. And the way I interpret it is this, that 80% of our results come from 20% of our actions. The key is knowing which actions to take. You know, it's sometimes maybe it's an action that we shouldn't take. And so for you in real estate investing, what have you seen is some of the best actions that we can take, you know, today, this week, this month, to be able to get our feet wet and start making some money in real estate?
Well, look, again, this may not be what you want to hear, but the reality is I think I have an amazing opportunity. If somebody truly is listening to us here and they're like, well, hell, this sounds pretty cool. I think I want to do the business, or I've been wanting to do the business, couldn't figure out. I think the ability to partner with someone like me, whether it's me or it's someone in their own marketplace or regional place, I think that is the absolute best way to go. I mean, when you stand on the shoulders of more successful people, and you know that's called alignment. You align yourself with success, and you become more successful. Now, if somebody does want to go at it themselves because they just feel like they can do it, nothing wrong with that. You know, I've driven that ship for many years myself. I always tell people do something different. You know, if you look at my models, I look at my model right now, partner-driven model. There's no one other big investor in the country that does this. My model before, when I combined my real estate investment company with my traditional real estate brokerages, nobody did that at the level I did it. So my claim to fame in terms of businesses has always been I try to create my own playing field, because it's hard to compete against everyone else. You know, I mean, I'm not smarter than anyone else. Don't have maybe, you know, you might not have more money than anyone else. You might not have the right background, all this. And you're trying to compete against people that have more money, better background, better history, better resources. And you're playing with them. It's like, you know, playing football when you're, you know, my size and I go to NFL, I'm going to get killed. Hell no. I'm going to build my own little stadium. I'm going to build my own little field. I'm going to get little guys like me. And then I'm going to compete. And I'm going to win. Well, and that's how I look at business. Create your own playing field. And how you create your own playing field is you distinguish yourself. Whatever that is. With me, it's always been my model. I've always done these unusual models. And when you do these unusual models, there's no one that competes against you. Get rid of your competition. And ultimately, if you don't have competition, you're not going to lose. You're going to automatically win. So that's kind of been the way I've been doing things.
Yeah, it's almost like rewriting the rules of the game to be successful. You know, you're playing a different game, and so you don't have as much competition, and you're able to be more successful at that.
You got it.
So one of the things I've been playing around with too is kind of one of the big things, and we've kind of already talked about it. You know what people shouldn't do. But what is the one thing people should not do to avoid just kind of like ultimate failure when they're going into real estate?
Well, I will tell you, I would, because, you know, this real estate business does offer different types of strategies. I would not get into too many strategies that require putting a lot of money into it. Because in the end, you can overcome mistakes. You can overcome frustration. You can overcome failures. But a lot of people can't overcome losing money. I mean, that's something that could be here today, gone tomorrow, and you're out. And the cool thing is real estate is one of those few businesses that if you understand it to a certain level, you can get into some models. You can get into some strategies that are not going to require you put money in there. And I recommend get into those types of strategy, like the wholesaling strategy or something like that.
We talked a little bit about the wholesaling strategy, and I kind of want to touch on that because I think that piques a lot of people's interest, definitely piques my interest, about how we can minimize our monetary risk and still get into real estate investment. Can you break down like how we find these wholesale deals and how exactly we make money in a wholesale deal?
Well, in terms of how to find them, how to find a piece of how you find a good deal does not change from strategy to strategy, by the way. Right. Whether you want to fix and flip it, whether you want to wholesale it, whether you want to retail it, whether you want to rent it, those strategies are the same. And we've hit on this too. The only way, in my opinion, you could find deals in today's marketplace is you have to know how to go directly to owners. It's one of the first mistakes investors make. They get into this. They're like, they get a local realtor. Total waste of time. I have not bought a property from a realtor in probably about 5 years. And if somebody at my level, my expertise, my networks, my connections, if I haven't gotten anything from a realtor in 5 years, how in the hell do you think a brand new person's going to do it? They can't. So all REO business has been dead. The banks obviously aren't in trouble anymore, so they don't have to give their properties away and all that kind of stuff. So the strategy to find a whole deal, to find good deals, is you have to market directly to owners. It's the owner-to-owner hand combat is what I say that strategy.
That's awesome. And that's a really good advice too. Just, being able to go directly to the business owner.
It's the only way to do it.
And shocking that you haven't even used a real estate agent in 5 years and yet you're doing deals, 10, 20, 30 deals a month. So I think people should listen up to that. So you find a deal, you get lucky enough, you go right to the owner, you find something that you can do. How do you flip that around to turn a profit?
Well, what a wholesaling strategy simply does, it's this. You identify a deal, and then you simply mark up your contract. You put under contract, let's say $50,000, and all you do is you mark up the contract by, let's say, $5,000 or $10,000 to $55,000 or $60,000, and then you literally sell that contract, that paper, to the end buyer, and you keep the difference. You got it for $50,000, you marked it up $5,000 or $10,000, and you make the split, $5,000 to $10,000 split. That's how you do it. And so you need an owner on one side, a contract in the middle, and an investor that wants to buy that property on the other side. And that process is called wholesaling. Doesn't require you to put any money into deals, and it's a pretty safe strategy to utilize. I still use it.
And that's very simplified there, which I appreciate because it's easy to follow. But is it easy to find? To find an investor who's going to buy your property? Are there
nothing's easy? There's nothing easy in this business. But it's like anything else in life. For a good deal, yes, there's always buyers. Absolutely.
It's almost kind of like a finder's fee, almost.
It's a finder's fee.
Yeah, I found this property. Absolutely. Set it up.
Absolutely.
You buy it.
You got it.
Peter, this has been excellent. I really appreciate you sharing your knowledge and over 20 years in real estate. You obviously have been extremely successful, and the tools and strategies you shared today were incredible. So thank you. Where can everybody find you online if they want to connect with you maybe on social media or learn more about the partner-driven program?
Sure. Well, the best way to learn a starting point would just be go to our main website, and that's www.coachingbypeter.com. That's www.coachingbypeter.com. That's a great starting point to see what our partner-driven program is all about. All my social media links. I'm huge on social media. All my social media links are, tap off of there. It's a great way to learn if this is the right opportunity for any of your users.
That's excellent. I really, really appreciate it. So you've achieved a ton of success already, but our last question is always this. What is your next level of success?
Well, my next level is tied into what I've been doing for 20 years, and that's doing real estate deals. So my next level, it's funny you say that, we were just talking about that, is I want to get to the point where I have deals going on in all 50 states. There's no hedge fund that's done that. There's no investor that's done that. I think that would put me in a very unique
position as an investor to have a real estate deal going on in every state. So that's it for me right there.
You got the drive, you got the program. I got no doubt that you'll be there in no time, man. So Peter, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Appreciate it. Loved it. Thanks, man.
If you enjoyed the show and learned something of value, the one ask that I have is please go subscribe, whether you're on iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube. And if you leave us a 5-star rating and review, that absolutely helps us get our message out there. Each week, I'm going to continue to interview amazing people, and we're going to break down their tools and strategies to help get you real results. Feel free to visit the website, unleashsuccess.com, and subscribe to our newsletter so you get updates each week. And remember, knowing is not enough. Knowledge alone is not power. Action is. Because action is the only way you're going to get the results you want in life and truly live the life of your dreams. So take some action, subscribe to the podcast today, and get ready to unleash success in you.